I used to be very good at this looking into the camera and talking thing, but I'm not very good at it anymore. Hello, hello, and indeed hello, how the devil are you? Okay, so today I want to talk about this feeling I have. I'm feeling pretty down at the moment, but I'd like to talk about it partially because it's a very therapeutic thing to do. It's a very therapeutic thing to talk about your emotions like this, but it's also a very relevant emotion. A lot of young people feel this, and it's that feeling of inadequacy in that period between teenagerhood and adulthood, which I can't particularly shake or agree with. And this is a pretty universal emotion. Like in my last video, I was talking about that impending sense of forever before you graduate. You know, there's going to be this cut-off point. You know, when you graduate, that adulthood is just going to happen, and all the responsibilities regarding adulthood is just going to happen as soon as you graduate. And it's a very terrifying thing to feel. It's much more terrifying than actual adulthood itself. But on that video, my good friend Austin, who I have an immense soft spot for, he makes fantastic videos as well. He talked about lacking a sense of direction. He's 19 at the moment, and he said, you know, I'm 19, I don't have a direction to go in life at the moment, and I'm really worried about it. And what I said was that, you know, that's a perfectly natural thing for 19-year-olds to feel. You know, I know 29-year-olds who have no idea what they're going to be doing in life. You know, it's a perfectly natural thing to feel. But I think 19 is an interesting year, especially because it's because 20 is that graduation-esque sort of cut-off point. I was going for drinks with my friend and colleague October a while back now, and what she was saying is that I'm not looking forward to turning 20 because I won't be able to go out and get pissed and then come back and act all really silly and things anymore, really. And what I wanted to say was, you know, that's pretty ridiculous. Like, everyone expects 20-year-olds to go out and get pissed and make a fool of themselves now and again. You know, that's what 20-year-olds do, apparently. But, you know, again, I really sympathise with this feeling of inadequacy, and it's a feeling that I really, really, really don't agree with. But the first thing, what I want to say is that adulthood isn't a cut-off point, it's a sort of process. You know, in the past, in the past, adulthood and childhood were very, very distinct things. They, you know, I was watching an interview with an actress who grew up in, who was about 15 in 54, 55. And what she was saying is that I played with dolls up until I was 15, and as soon as I turned 15, I was, you know, shoved off to be married or get a job or like be a housewife or whatever. You know, that's the way things were at that time, and the way things are not at the moment, thank God. So adulthood is this process now, and it's a process where, regardless of how good you are at a particular thing, you'll always be kind of looked down upon. You know, everyone has this emotion sometimes as well. You know, when you're 7, you don't want to be seen dead with anybody who's 6, for example. You know, it's that kind of feeling. You know, it's a really bizarre one because it infiltrates real life, and it's talked about as if as if young people are inferior in some way because they don't have the relevant experience, you know, which I think is incredibly problematic. Partially because experience is not the best indicator of how good someone will be at a particular job or something. Certainly not the primary indicator, whereas it seems to be the primary indicator at the moment because, you know, that's the adulthood way of things, I think. It's so weird. It's so weird. I've been in several jobs where someone has been extremely experienced in a particular thing. I've been employed beside someone in a particular, but they haven't been any better or worse than I have with no experience in said thing. it's a really weird thing. It's really bizarre. What's also really bizarre about this impending sense of doom, this really impending sense of adulthood and foreverness, which I'm experiencing at the moment, is, I mean, with jobs and things. Jobs are a really weird area. Working is fine. Working is a piece of piss. It's literally one of the most uncomplicated things we do as humans. Looking for a job is unnecessarily convoluted and weird and dependent on this really arbitrary experience requirement that young people simply don't have much of. And you know, it's like I have a degree. I work to the point of insanity for my degree. You know, but that doesn't count. But you know that's irrelevant. Basically, especially when you're a young person, you're learning how to be a person. Crucially, you're learning that you're not as special as you thought you were, and that's perfectly fine. You know, learning to come to terms with the fact that you're not the best at everything, but in the same breath, you're very encouraged to say, well, I'm the best thing to ever happen to accountancy or whatever field you're going in. And that's a massive cognitive dissonance, and it's an unnecessary cognitive dissonance. And it makes me feel really sad because I'm not the best at anything. I'm okay with that. But you have to kind of act as if you are. You have to. You have to be arrogant, but not arrogant at the same time, which is a really, really weird and arguably impossible thing to do. I should be up country somewhere with a proper job, paying job. I like my job at the moment. I really do. I love the people who I'm working with. I love what I do. I love the ethics of Lush as a company. I think they're brilliant. But I could be working for the Home Office. I got an interview with the Home Office. I got an interview with the MI5, which is pretty amazing. You know, I could be doing this really hard number crunching stuff. This really exciting, really thrilling kind of number crunching, really analytical, really important. You know, these jobs, I can do them. You know, I have all of this knowledge in so many different areas, but it's kind of like it's being devalued a little bit. You're not being listened to. You know, you're not being listened to based on your merit or anything. You're not being listened to based on the fact that you're a young person and don't have this experience thing. But I'm not even sure whether it's an experience thing per se. Whereas it may just be a young person's thing. Like, for example, my manager at the moment is the same age as me. She effectively got me this job. We went to college together, age 17, 18. And she's gone down the sort of work your way up kind of route, but she's being denied the manager's role at the moment because I think because she's not old enough. You know, she's 22 and a very good manager, like a seriously really good manager, especially compared to the other manager that we had there. But I don't know. It's this really bizarre cognitive dissonance that you should be better than you are, but you're being kept down emotionally and by the adult world. The adult world doesn't want you. At least not yet. You know, what really gets my goat sometimes is the use of, that's just how it is, or the real world. You know, those two ideas are very closely interlinked because there's the idea that there's a cosmic mandate to adulthood, and it's not just a product of lots of people doing and saying things. It's a very bizarre thing. Because I know I'm good enough, but I'm constantly being reminded that I'm not. I've sent out 60 proper job applications and only 4 have been looked at. And that can never... If oh man, if that was a manager, they would be a really incompetent manager. And some of these people have goddamn recruitment agencies, you know. What the fuck do they do in recruitment? Jesus. So that's my rant. You're not the only one. And if you are, I'm a terrible human being. Bye.